Good morning, guys. I had to come on as soon as I got up. I didn't fall asleep till 5 o'clock this morning. I just got up a little while ago, actually 10:33 to be exact. And it's 11:14 on the clock now, which is justice and that higher love of the angelic realms, of the temperance card, of patience and balance and taking one step at a time. And the first thing I woke up to was Jen McCarty talking about Scotland and the Rose Line. And that came up in my union read yesterday. So, of course, I had to bring it to you. So you have the union read right in front of you. And we're going to get right into that. Let's go ahead and take just one deep breath. So, and of course, very much the mother energy is coming up. So the union read, wow. This was done at 5 on the dot yesterday, and I stopped doing the 3D, 4D, 5D yesterday because I was guided to do just the 4D, 5D, 6D now. So 5 o'clock is that 00 energy of source energy backing up the 5 of the Hierophant, freedom, change, and expansion as well. And the underlying energy is the 10 of Swords. The central energy is the indigo, and the 2 of Cups is the final energy. The waves of flames breaking through to the other side, hanging out in bliss with the indigo proposal of 2 as 1. The Queen of Cups and the Hermit make peace in the friendly circle of trust, the Lemurian way. The incoming divine feminine was the 7 of Cups, the 10 of Wands, and the abundance. Taking steps, spiraling up, and synchronicities and options of the 10 of Pentacles, family, business, or community, or the world at large, or the legacy of abundance, the mother lode, the most powerful weight lifter of all, Hercules, or Hercules, which is her harvest. The blissful heaven in their eyes, in the garden of prayer and crystals, the healing mother's chamber. At 5:18 was the Hierophant and the moon, the 8 of 18. The 4D is the Ace of Wands, justice, and the 6 of Cups. The divine feminine ignited, the flame lit, newly inspired, and bursting at the seams. The divine masculine 6 of Cups in a pure, innocent, loving hug, surrounded by loving family, galactic or otherwise, bridging divine justice, and this was at 5:20, which is the 5 again of the Hierophant and the 20 of justice, or excuse me, judgment, but also the 52 of the Queen of Swords backed up by source energy. Bridging divine justice at the portal in the road, blindly going where no man's gone before. The truth of divine and balance of justice, which was coming up as justice is the Jew, referencing the masculine group as Jesus. The Jew and stice for justice is a Jew stitch, stab, point, or prick, or just ice, or the Jew path that's icy, regarding preservation, because we just talked about ice. A slippery slope, and what is fair. In the 5D of the 6 of Pentacles, the indigo and the Ace of Pentacles are expected to give and yet remain balanced. The divine masculine stone-breaking plant, right? That's the infiltration, breaking from within. A diamond in the rough, growing where no one thought it ever would. Bridging with indigo proposal, with diamond that he's become, offering self or hands to the divine feminine. The 6D is the 2 of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and the 2 of Swords. The Divine Feminine surrendering to all that is. The Divine Masculine floating in their knowing on the jetties or the mists of Avalon, bridging the Queen of Pentacles, struggling to give up time, money, or effort, or struggling to have to pay for nothing, and the outgoing Divine Masculine with the skipping of the steps, Pegasus to the flame, flying across the sun, energized in leaps and bounds, taking the quantum leap instead of going all the way around, destined to atom on 3 planes of existence in a merry-go-round with the higher self and Akashics and the plasma ethers as well as the northern lights. And then here the ethers was coming up broken down as well because it has that same meaning of prick. So Jew stice is a Jew prick, and then the ethers is the AE of the ash or the light in Pleiadian, the bright light, and again the prick. The prick is like the cut, also is that meaning. The laser cut is the energy that was coming up here, like the light laser cut. It's so fine, the kind of laser they use to cut diamonds. The light ash, the cut, the prick, the pierce, the slaughter, and the Scottish here. I wrote down this literally. In Scottish, it means these. And we're talking about the word THER is the second half of ether. Or laser cut precision, being baptized in the Garden of Eden. Sunshine and flowers in the circle of trust. The sealing of the deal. The ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down, as I just brought up the ashes. The ring on the finger is the rose line. At 542, the Hierophant and the 42 of the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is, and 5 is marriage. The marriage of the Two of Cups, the Hieros Gamos. The rose line, the direct connect to the heart from the finger. The number 44, pulling into the station, or stationing, the 4th left finger to the 4th left chakra. Shocking Ra, the resident assistant, Jupiter now in Pisces from 12/28, so yesterday was the first full day in Pisces, through May 10th, 22. It's actually direct. So the only thing that was retrograde yesterday was Venus and Uranus. So that came up. The different equinoxes were coming up here as well. And June 21st, 22, the equinox was at 9:14, which was a significant number for me. And the energy here was most significant with Jupiter because it's stationed direct in Pisces yesterday, or on the 28th, but the first full day was yesterday, the 29th. From the 28th of December to May 10th. So there's that 5 again of the Hierophant. And the 12 of the Hanging Man, Jesus. At 6:08 is the Lovers and the 8 of the Dance. The rose line of the atom, which atom is at home. 3 planes of existence plus 1, the ring around the rosy, the ring or the boundary line of the atom. So 4 circles, not just 3, but the 4 circles of the sealed atom to the 4 chambers of the heart. The portals and valves, or leaps to the next, of the 2 in and 2 out. And remember that auto came up as aut, reflecting om, om being at om, just like the atom, atom, and the om of the home, and then the auto of being out. So home or out, 2 in, 2 out, the 22 of the Fool's Journey of love, with Venus, Capricorn retro, and Uranus, Taurus retro, and the North Node Taurus retro here, and the practical side of Venus not so practical today. So no sudden happenings in Taurus and retro with Uranus along with the North Node. So that was just some of the placements that were coming up yesterday. The Divine Masculine leaping with Jupiter and Pisces to the higher self, in connection with the Queen of Cups, the Mary Magdalene, and the Hermit of Peace, and the Lemurian wisdom. The Divine Feminine at 6:28, which is the Lovers and the Twins, inspired to share and balance and surrender to all that is. the divine masculine ring around the rosy as the diamond finds its way out of the rock to breathe the rainbow floating on air like Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. I'm in heaven. Cheek to cheek came up yesterday. And the bridge here being the justice of the indigo proposal to the Queen of Pentacles, who may be resistant, and the divine feminine with Taurus on their side, along with Leo or Sag and Pisces or Capricorn. And then the divine masculine with Leo or Sag, Libra and Pisces, and perhaps Virgo as well. And there was no court cards on the feminine side, but the masculine side had the Queen of Cups in the area. It wasn't one of the main cards. And then between the masculine and feminine was the Queen of Pentacles, the Libra and the Gemini or Virgo energy, or the Libra indigo that proposes to that Queen of Pentacles energy. The Chariot of the Sea with high vibe credit, the solar D, or the sun, the divine sun, the great higher self was coming up here. And it's like the great Oz, but it's coming up, as the higher self. The Chariot of the Sea, which is that energy of Pegasus flying across the sun, out of the sea, out of his father's grasp. The high vibe, with high vibe credit that he's stored up. The solar D, the great higher self of the masculine and the feminine. The overall number for this read was the 47 of the Seven of Cups. And the horizontal pillars came out to 16, 7, and 24, which is the Tower, the Chariot, and the Queen of Wands. The vertical pillars came up to 17, 10, 0, 9, 0, 9, 0, 0, 2. And it's 11:26 on the clock right now. I don't know why that's significant. We have Justice, and then the Page of Wands, which is that inspired energy. The alignment of being inspired. And it was just 12-12 here, which is the two hanging out, seeing new perspectives. The 17 of the Star, the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, the 0 of source energy or space, the 909, which is two hermits with space between, and then 002, but then the 47 at the end, which is also comes up as 007 with 24, the Queen of Wands in the way. We have the sudden event, epiphany, or energetic exchange of the Chariot of the Queen of Wands, seeing signs or synchronicities or the options that they have. The dreams destined with space for Hermit and Hermit, and 002 or 007 with the Queen of Wands in the way, but also the healing of the high vibe Agent 99 with space to breathe, and more for the High Priestess to do synchronicities and heaven in their eyes. So again, 007 is crossing bridges between Agent 99 from Maxwell Smart and 007. Like, bridging barriers, right? They're not supposed to go together, but that's the energy of the twin flames, so it's pretty funny, actually. And that's come up before as well. So that was the union read. So now I'm going to bring you the twin flame read on the table. So we're going to bring this back a little bit. Okay, let's bring this down a little bit for you guys. There you go. Nope. Okay. I was wondering why it's so close. I thought that was okay. So here is the twin flame read, the general read, whereas the union read is more about the physical union. This is the general read for all of the general energies, and we're going to roll the dice here for you guys for the twin flame general read. And here we have the 10 of the Wheel of Fortune. For me, that's also Libra energy and that high vibe. Aquarius, which is also air sign. And then we also have the Sun, which is Leo. So the Sun, and we just had Pegasus flying across the Sun away from is it Neptune or Poseidon? I always forget. the son of the, the father of the sea, but the son of the sun, flying across the sunflower of the sun, the flowering of the sun, releasing themselves, finding their independence from the father. The energy of that 10, of that high vibration, again I'm getting the rose line, and the Aquarius energy of that, the all encompassing love. But Libra is very much about the one-to-one love. So again, it's bringing up the one-to-one, the two of the couple, and then the connection to the whole. And there's the whole of the sun, the whole with the 0 point in the middle. The sun of the sun, the bright sun, but also the sun, as in the father and the son. So this read was cut and dealt at 642, which again is the lovers and the 2 of cups, that one-to-one. And so with the 6, we have Gemini bringing up all 3 air signs, coming up with the sun. The 652 of the Queen of Swords. So that's like a Gemini or twin Queen of Swords. And of Orbs was coming up, of thoughts and words, but also blind men and orphans. As the mothering Sophia comes up here as well, of the sun, right? Leaving the father's grasp. It's like to leap to the mother's arms, I'm getting now. And then NGE was coming up, which is one of the definitions of NGE is Scorpion. So the Scorpion was coming up yesterday. And I have had a run-in with a Scorpion when I was in college. There was a Scorpion on our desk, I think it was economics class, on the 3rd floor of the building of all places, on the uppermost row. The whole row all of a sudden just moves back from the desk as the Scorpion presents itself. And there's also that energy of, for me, capital N is Christ, G of course is the God, energy, and then E is energy. So there's this, the Son and the Father, energy as one, and actually that comes up in the code line here. The rose line and the code line here are coming up as one as well. I literally wrote G in my code, but it's not the G because the part of the G was covered, so it was coming up as the letter C. But when that happens for me, I write G, and then I emphasize the C. So there's the Christ, God, that was just being referenced to you now as the N of the Christ, capital N, the G of the God, and the E of the energy, the Christ, God, energy. And the Scorpion coming up. And remember, this picture of the Scorpion is the activated tail, or the Kundalini, and then the claws out, like you're jumping your car, that shock of the Kundalini rising is like the Scorpion sting. And I finished completing this clarification at 7:05. And the ring is making me uncomfortable. Obviously, because the Scorpion's coming up, that's a very uncomfortable energy. At 11:32, which is justice and the 32 of the journey, the alignment of the journey, of the rose line, of the merging of the 2 lines, the 11. You know that picture of the journey of love where I think that came up yesterday, where the masculine and feminine are flowing together, like floating in the mists of Avalon with space between, but you don't have to take that space out because they naturally merge together with that space automatically built in. And it's now 11:33 of the Christ vibration. I woke up at 10:33 an hour ago, so I didn't go to bed till 5. Or I didn't go to sleep. I tried to go to sleep. So again, we have this energy of the NGE, and then in the code line, the NTE came up, and T was coming up as the key, so the Christ code of God, the lineage of God, and the change was on the code line of Cha and NGE, which is where that NGE came up from. So again, I finished clarifying at 7:05, which is the Chariot and the Hierophant again, of the commitment, the marriage. 7 is the Chariot of Hieros Gamos, the traveling to the divine marriage. And the major arcana here is transition, the higher self, and guidance. Again, guidance is the Hierophant and the higher self, and the transition through the portal. Again, the Chariot traveling into the divine marriage. After the read, the Tower, the Strength, and the Hanging Man came up. The three wands, 4 swords, and 1 pentacle. But guess what's missing? The cups, the heart line, the rose line, the Mary Magdalene and Jesus line, the Queen of Cups and the Page of the Queen of Wands and the Page of Wands and the Queen of Swords were the main characters in the read. And before the read is the 9 of Pentacles, or the Sovereign, and the Page of Swords. After the read is the Knight of Swords. So we have the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords basically like bookends around the read. The numbers that came up here were double 9s and double 10s. Again, 9, 10, begin again and again and again. Keep coming back to the heart, to center point, to the present moment. Right? The rose line from your ring finger, always remember that, from your ring finger to your heart. The 4th finger to the 4th chakra. And the 7, and the numbers that came up here besides 9, 10 is most significant, are the 3, 4, and the 7. And the 3, 4 is that 8 of Wands, that energetic exchange, the arrows of love, and the 7 of the Chariot, the vehicle of ascension and infiltration. To go into, to infiltrate from within. Whether that's within your body, right, and something getting in to help you grow, or whether it's outside of you and infiltrating into a group in order to transmute from within. The code line was all about change here. And we also had the numbers of 47, which is the 4 to 7, the sweet spot, and the 47 of the signs and synchronicities and options, perhaps confusion when there's too many choices. And then we also had the 23 of the King of Wands, the 45 of the 5 of Cups, the 57 of the 3 of Swords, the heartbreak and separation, the disappointment, the heart pain, the heartache, and the 78 of the 10 of Pentacles, of heaven on earth. The 89 of the Phi energy of expanding and contracting and coming to the middle by reflecting. That 9, 10, begin again and again and again, coming back to the heart. And the code line was all about change from Cha and NGE. And of course, Cha comes up as the dance, but many other definitions. And this is the way that played out. The code line was all about the number 10, which is that high vibration, and the destiny card of the Wheel of Fortune. And that ultimate turn for the better, your destiny, having faith in the change, change and face the strain of the heart ache. As it grows, it cracks and grows and becomes bigger, just like the Grinch. It grew 3 times that day. Of the Christ God, the Father and the Son energy, of the Father, of the Son releasing the Father to become his sovereign self, leaping into the loving arms of the Mother. The Sophia, right after the grasps of the thousands of years of the patriarchy, leaping into the loving energy of the Sophia. The transition here, the higher self and the guidance are Hierophant. Through the portal to the higher self, to the Hieros Gamos, the divine marriage. The change. And Jesus' energy, the divine masculine collective's energy, the NGE, the lowercase NGE is Jesus and energy, GE, which means scorpion, but also it means time, leisure, chance, opportunity, person, small, little, I, face. So the messages came up around the word change and the number 10, high vibe change, of the Christ key, the Christ within God, the high vibe Queen of Wands, higher self. So again, these are all high vibe versions of these court cards. And the Ker came up here, K-E-R, which has many different meanings as well. And then the NTC. So besides the Christ key, the Christ in God, and the high vibe Queen of Wands, higher self, coming up as new territories in Hong Kong were coming up, as well as Scotland. Also the neutral zone, the Northern Territory, the New Testament was also coming up. Windows NT, and the neighbor tone, neurotensin, as well as nice try, guys. And the neutral zone or neighboring tone with the C, C, and C of the see with your eye, see with the heart, the emotion, and see with the Christ unity consciousness. The destined Queen of Wands, and again, I lost one earring again. That happens sometimes. I lost the left one this time. Last time I told you that an earring fell out. It was the right side. Today it's the left. So the feminine. The neutral zone, or the neighboring tone of the C, and C. Destined Queen of Wands, higher self, as the mule, the dog, or seen as dirt, right? That lower vibration of the Queen of Wands. Nice try, Christ God, high vibe, Queen of Wands, or 10 whys of the drama or the flames, the higher self soul that is not the same. Nice try, Satan, or clearing of flames, or the wisdom of clearing of flames to get that dark energy out of the way. The higher self being the monkey or the monkey, in the middle, the soul and the spirit that you are. I am that I am. The cha of the dance, which also means to dawn, rise, to come to eat, weep, and your father, my father. So it's all about this father energy with leisure time, a chance, opportunity for the small little person to be eye to eye, to get down or up to their level, face to face. Or the dance, again, is the humbling. It's saying not to lower your energy to other people, but to humble yourself to the child. Right? Just like the child on the knees, not down on your knees begging or praying, but down on your knees humbling yourself like a child would, an innocent, loving heart. Face to face, or the dance of the scorpion with their tail out and arms out and up, the ready position to shock you, because they learned to dance. So this is coming up as a masculine who is going to shock you because they learned to do the dance. Explosion, destined, the Queen of Wands with higher self, perhaps a negative spirit or iceberg, afraid of the scorpion, or the eye of the little person, the child within, but afraid of the surprise, the shock of the heart, because the shock of the heart means your heart has stopped. The heart has stopped. And there's a line I just lost. What is it? Be what? My heart. Be still, my heart. Whatever famous poetry line is, I can't think of it right now, is coming up with that. As in the heart stops. Be still, my heart. For thou shalt never leave. And if thou would no longer be a part of my heart, I then would no longer want to be a part of this world. Be still, my heart, knowing you are there. Be still, my heart, with every hair of my being. With every air of my being. Be still, my heart, in your knowing that we are always as one. Be still, my heart. Papa. Papa. In a show of power, the source key, Sophia and Christ God, the high vibe clearing of the flames, the higher self, the caw of the crow's message, but also the raven. Remember, the crows travel in groups, but the raven travels as one, the one and the all. The monk's key, or the ice's flow, because ice preserves as opposed to burns. By the way, all of that stuff with Be Still My Heart just came up now. I didn't write that down from before. Transition reversed here is the first underlying energy. So it's the Death card reversed, but the portal reversed. And beneath that, the Eight of Swords upright with the Nine of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups reversed, and the Two of Wands reversed, the Queen of Swords upright. The prison, the trap, the anxiety of the sovereign with unhappy family, or an emotional cycle of unhappiness that's so over, where you're out of options with the Queen of Swords upright, needing to transition or end that cycle. At 749, the Chariot and the Nine of Cups of emotional fulfillment of self, of getting your wish because you're happy with yourself no matter what. Be still, my heart. There's no choice but to step up about instability, about a visit or a move, the sovereign split, or being divided and needing clarity about something. Be still, my heart. At 751, with the Chariot and the King of Swords, we're unable to choose the path without a message about the house or repair, and the sovereign about to pull the plug. Or the King of Wands reversed and the Queen of Swords upright, in a falling out with the Queen of Wands, or out of options with the Queen of Swords upright, and a negative past between the King of Wands reversed and the Queen of Wands upright, and an offering of new passion and growth, or a project perhaps, trying to ground roots with plenty of ambitions, and trying to end the nightmare that keeps on giving. The finger of God points to the countryside. And remember, the finger of side was coming up with Patricia Coates-Robles as the chakra system is God's finger, right? The hand being our world, but the finger being your chakra system as each person. The finger of God points to the countryside here, a castle on a hill with plenty of room to build. That's interesting too, because I woke up to Jen McCarty talking about the retreat she's planning in a castle on March 21st, and I actually wrote this yesterday. So the finger of God points to the countryside, a castle on a hill with plenty of room to build, after X or Akashics are cleared, or reservation cleared. And that's right then too, my son texted me that he made it home because it's a long drive at 7:58, which is the Chariot and the Four of Swords, the 5D connection between the masculine and the feminine, and that long drive. Rejecting two wands, but accepting the third at 8:08, the dance of the crazy eights, to end stress, or the never-ending story of sleepless nights, which is funny because I didn't fall asleep till 5 a.m. And then the Three of Cups reversed, with the third party destined to school the golden goose and fold their laundry or make their bed, so the magician can go on and be successful making magic. Or bad influences around Libra, Leo, and Gemini or Virgo, and time out or out of school with Leo angel, or being strong taming the beast, or taking care of a pet perhaps, or homeschooling and doing chores while the magician has all their tools on board, the magic DNA. Be still, my heart. Keeping the golden goose in check while grinding the claws in, again coming up, the crows and the raven, and laying it all out on the table. Or going to the magic show, but only if they stay quiet and do what they're supposed to do, buckling down and study or do your homework while the mother does the chores. The magician with all the tools on board, the magic DNA, and lots of flames and flowers all around for that high vibe energy feeling at 8:17. All of the roses around, actually, the rose line all around, the ring around the rosy. At 8:17, the strength and the star of dreams coming true, of hope and dreams. That's all about you. Keep an open mind comes up here, and beneath it, stay optimistic about your love life. Energy stealing beneath the curtain, and the high priestess with the keys, or red fruit and pink dressings, or bubble blowers and low cleavage, using a treat to tempt you or draw you in, and then while you're occupied, having another steal from you. Or the manipulation of the magician, remember that. The unhappy family of the Page of Cups upright, unable to express their feelings, unable to find the words regarding a deception. Or the dance under the moon, done the cycle of unhappiness, or family who is so draining, stealing from their own not interested in New Year's this year. And the dancing under the moon is coming up with Dancing with Wolves. And guess what I watched last night? I watched Dancing with Wolves. Haven't watched that in years. And that wasn't coming up on the feed. I actually ended up going into that because I was looking at some other stuff. So again, the unhappy family of the Page of Cups, that innocent, sweet, pure, loving child, or the puppy love of that energy, the message of love, unable to express their feelings, unable to find the words regarding a deception, or the dance underneath the moon, or the dance with wolves, done the cycle of unhappiness of the family who is so draining, perhaps stealing from their own, not interested in New Year's this year, with all the drunks perhaps, or tired of being the family errand boy at 8:25, which is the dance. And the Knight of Wands. Perhaps being slave to the children, maybe who are dating or having parties all the time and being the fifth wheel at 8:26. The dance and the Page of Wands of inspiration and that inspired child. The Page of Cups burning the midnight oil by candlelight and dessert. Pen and ink, writing words or music, or up until dawn, whether or not the family likes it. With a green environment of the 44, remember the number 44 came up as the train from the fourth finger to the fourth heart pulling into the station of Jupiter in Pisces, right? Pisces, that crossing over to the other side of personal growth, and the number 7 underneath the green environment here. The Chariot beneath the 44, right? You have to have the car or the chariot, the vehicle of ascension and infiltration, before you pull into the station. The 10 of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community with dysfunction or loss or big expense, and feeling in disconnect or at a distance, but with good news coming in and leading the way. With the Knight of Pentacles reversed, unable to function, ending the battle, or losing the competition. The Queen of Pentacles upright, implementing a plan, and my voice has gone this whole time, you noticed. Queen of Pentacles upright, implementing a plan with the Sovereign, or to fix up the place, after the Knight of Pentacles reversed left. After they left with good news, they made it home, exhausted or not, feeling well, but no more conflict. And the Queen of Pentacles can decide what to invest in next, or mother and daughter time next, or just nesting for themselves. The Sovereign in a never-ending story, needing to end the cycle and make magic all night, or up early in the green environment. With the Sun, or the Sovereign, the Sun and the Earth was coming up here, but I actually wrote the Earth sign Sovereign. But the Sun and the Earth was coming up here as the Sun and the Mother, and Scorpio reverse, stressed out about manifesting big, early rising, or Gemini or Virgo upright and Cancer reversed, and the family, business, community, or world, and spending on a greener environment for all. At 8:41 is the dance of the love, the Holy Grail, the Hieros Gamos union, the Ace of Cups. New love to the past, from the Queen of Wands reversed, post-war or post-virus, with issues at work offering a big payoff, to end a partnership, or good news about paying them back. Present to an unhappy family, standing up to the group about a break, a rest, or convalescence, or the 5D connect, and keeping it to themselves. Satisfied, sharing, or settling out with the Empress reversed, who may be in lack here. Remember, the Empress reversed is the mother energy reversed, right, in lack. Whether it's because they're sick or ill, or somebody might have miscarried with the Empress reversed, but it's also the polarity of the good and bad, right? So the Empress who's in lack because she doesn't feel able to do anything herself, or she does that to manipulate others to get them to do everything for her. Or it's the mean Empress reversed, who's very bossy and part of the patriarchal energy, that negative patriarchal energy. To move or to fix up the house, perhaps. The sharing of the settling, or satisfied sharing or settling out with the Empress reversed, to move or fix up the house, perhaps for them. This could also be helping a mother or a an ex-partner perhaps fix up the place for the kids. And then there's an ending of a marriage or a conflict, and the Knight of Wands upright to the rescue, destined, or Sagittarius Libra energy here at 8:49, which is the dance, again, of being happy with oneself, getting your wish. The recent past is the Nine of Swords, that energy of stress and suffering and silence, hiding in the woods, hiding underground, out of the sun, or out of the spotlight, right? It's like hiding your light under a bush. Starting over with the King of Wands reversed, getting over the loss and regret of holding on and awake to a scam, or to lying, cheating, and stealing, or perhaps from themselves, or energy vampiring, stealing from the workplace, or sneaking out early, or unaware of pretending not to know, so they don't have to deal with it. At 8:51, again, the dance of the King of Swords. And the Knight of Swords reversed, lashing out, or verbally abusive and disconnect, or at a distance, with Scrooge hoarding at work and lying about it, or in a split, or stressed out about the division of assets in a split. Again, all fear. And its foundation is F circled, fear. The Seven of Swords upright, passing downloads of good news and leading the way, with the Knight of Cups to offer love to families who are unhappy or having a hard time emotionally, to end the nightmare, the stress, the suffering and silence, perhaps dealing with a sister or just stressed out, right? Whatever it is that keeps you up at night, purging, crying, whatever. And the Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help, with the Emperor reversed, not doing well. And there's that father or grandfather and child, both reversed. And the central energy of the Ten of Wands upright, of the Atlas energy leaving the wounded warrior behind, knowing and keeping to themselves, to block out the harsh words or word, or being ignored at work. You notice how close those energies are, of word and work, except one is D of divine and the other one is the K, which can be energy. And you notice that WOR isn't spelled the same as war, but it certainly can be pronounced the same as war. The word and the work, it's like the war within and the war without again. Receiving a new offer of passion or growth, to share or settle out now that the worst is over. The Knight of Pentacles, that loyal, humble servant, offering to help in exchange for big love from the Divine Feminine, the Pisces, or the world. Remember, the Pisces represents the Divine Feminine because it is that final energy of stepping onto the other side. The Pisces of the world, performing with lover or affection of unfair King of Pentacles reversed, or Gemini with Libra in their chart, and the King of Pentacles reversed being unfair to the Divine Feminine or Pisces, challenged by the Queen of Wands upright, completing a cycle but refusing to let go, or Scorpio reversed, and deception about an offer to Scorpio reversed, from Cancer reversed perhaps, or Capricorn reversed, or Scorpio and Capricorn both reversed, may be detoxing after an early rise to offer time, money, and effort, or not going to sleep till late at night. And then the codependency or sharing with the King of Wands reversed, and the Page of Swords leaning on the truth, with the Hermit coming out or going insane, refusing to wake up to the injustice of the Emperor reversed fallen angel, or losing patience or their temper, falling from grace or on their face, lacking faith ultimately, with Leo, pet, or child pacifying the beast, or packing, and then burdened by the Page of Swords message, or the whimsical poetry of the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or to the Queen of Pentacles reversed, and now is the Page of Wands upright, which came up in the time at 11:26, which now is 11:58, which is the 5D connection of the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups. The Page of Wands here is the masked energy with burning desire, the hostage or trapped wounded warrior, right? It's the Atlas energy leaving the wounded warrior behind, and the masked Page of Wands with the burning desire, with a hostage or trapped wounded warrior, surrendering to the energetic exchange. You see the rolling stone here of the WW of the wounded warrior and the EE of the energetic exchange, destined to a sudden event, epiphany, or that energetic exchange, exploding with sovereign, broken up or blocked by distance, And the Page of Wands wanting to end the silence with the Queen of Cups, the Mary Magdalene energy, with a heartfelt wish of the Hermit coming out about obsession and depression and the need to heal and need to heed the call, with the King of Cups reversed, overworked or not working out, and a splitting of the bulls or the stampede, and it's making me cry. I cried so much at Dancing with Wolves last night, because what you don't realize when you're not awakened to your Kundalini is how you're crying, because that was a life that you led, and you're crying for all the things you experienced that you're seeing now, and you're purging that wound. And in Dancing with Wolves, remember the scene where all the buffalo, they were waiting for the buffalo to come across, and the power of the buffalo that stampede across the prairie, the noise, it's like thunder in the sky, the running of the bulls, the running of the buffalo here. And Spirit's connecting with me. So again, the Queen of Wands is coming. It's coming up as in the movie, like she's the Queen of Wands and he's the King of Cups reversed, right? Because he doesn't know who he is. He was the American soldier, but now he's one of them. And how he's still confused, towards the end as to what his place is in all of this. The Queen of Cups with heartfelt wish of the Hermit coming out about their obsession and depression and the need to heal, with the King of Cups reversed, overworked or not working out, and a splitting of the bulls or the stampede. And I hadn't watched the movie yet when I wrote this, by the way. I watched it late last night. As caught in the woods, in the weeds, and dumping a load at 9/11, which is that 9/11 of the Twin Towers coming crumbling down, to the 9/12 of the Hermit and the Hanging Man, or caught with their pants down by the High Priestess or religious woman, and the Page of Cups, or the Aid or Sitter and Child, or the Pisces, Virgo, or Aquarius with a loving message, and all the different personalities of the community. The Queen of Wands getting dressed and looking for their glasses, or Leo tackling the boar, forcing them to drink the water, so that the Queen of Swords and all of this killing that happens as well, with the Queen of Swords, with the man in the mirror who could feel it and trying to get vengeance. It's like the other woman trying to get vengeance on the twin who can't help but be connected to him. But there's something in the movie that comes up around this too, in the opposite way. In the movie, she was married, and when he met her, she was still grieving her husband, who was part of the Indian tribe. And the best friend of the Indian tribe told him at one point in the movie, "That's why I had a hard time liking you, because my best friend was her husband. But now I believe that he left for you to arrive, so that you could come in." Because she was white, she wasn't Indian, and he came in to be her true soulmate, even though he wasn't one of them, right? So her difference was that not that they were both white, but they were both of very different cultures coming together. It's very interesting, right? So the Virgo reversed, the Aquarius reversed, Libra reversed, and then Pisces upright, Aquarius reversed, Leo upright, and Sagittarius reversed, all here. And then at 9/19, which is the Hermit and the Sun, soon here, and then I'm getting the picture of the young boy in the movie. I forget what his name is. He's the one who smiles all the time, like smiling face or something like that. I forget what his name was. Very sweet and innocent. So when he killed someone, he grieved. He sat down and grieved afterwards. It was very sad, right? Because he has this very sweet, innocent heart. And even when he kills his enemy, he still had to grieve for them. And soon here's the higher self, or the Pisces, with Libra reversed and the King of Pentacles reversed, or the unfair King of Pentacles reversed, hoarding or dumping emotional attachments, or no longer confused in energetic exchange, with Hierophant or Taurus, and the Queen of Swords talking to herself, or the Queen of Pentacles reversed, losing ground. Oh, that's when he first met her. She was talking to herself. She was grieving. She was left after her husband had been killed. The Queen of Swords talking to herself, or the Page, or the Queen of Pentacles losing ground with the High Priestess finding peace away from the King of Pentacles reversed and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. And exchanging energy with both the Marriage or Taurus and the Queen of Swords upright higher self. So it's like becoming her higher self. So going from a Queen of Pentacles marriage to her husband who was killed to her Queen of Swords energy of the War Widow as her higher self. The twin flames and the Three of Pentacles of coming together in co-creation, hard at work, or slaving for the Knight of Wands to rush in and save the day or take over perhaps a child, the younger generation, the sunshine. And so now they're bringing up the child I was just talking about, right? The one who smiles. The younger generation taking over, who can't kill because they grieve everyone, even their enemy. The sunshine, the vacation, the kids in exposure, or coming back to work early to help with the load. The falling out of the negative past, or the kids acting up with the Empress reversed, trying to rest. Perhaps she just had twins, or just being lazy with the kids at home while the twin does all the work. Perhaps embarrassed in front of the fallen angel or Sagittarius with an announcement or wake-up call. And again, those kind of energies were coming up too, whereas he's now very comfortable with the tribe. And then one of the tribe members found his helmet in the prairie and was wearing it. And he was like, that's my helmet. You have to give it back. So that was an interesting scene too. The Aries, the Sagittarius, and the Leo coming off, all perfect. And through Aries, falls from grace, right? Because the head, Aries is represented by the front lines of the soldier, right? They go in without thinking. The Aries falls from grace, the Sagittarius fallen angel, and the Leo is called out perhaps by, they're called out by Aquarius perhaps, or by calling the kids home after finding out what they did. With Taurus reversed here and the bull, and there was that sadness of killing the bulls as well. It killed me to watch them killing the bulls. And the wolf too, when they shot the wolf. Just not working, or perhaps out sick with kids at 9:29, which is the Hermit, and the being present in the moment. To let go of control issues, and honeymoon was coming up for the twins, the heart-to-heart conversation of one-to-one, and that you deserve love. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is guidance or Taurus walking away from verbal abuse and or holding their tongue. Satisfied, or a bit of arrogance coming up here, of the Queen of Pentacles reversed at present, and the block being the Four of Swords, which is that 5D connect, and the break to heal, the breaking of the heart for it to expand and heal after sudden events, and standing up for oneself, right? Sometimes it takes a shock for one to stand up for themselves. The Queen of Swords upright and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or the old self and the new higher self, the change, and even more so the manifestation of the narcissistic hierophant energy of all business relationship that's not working, or staying in a place that doesn't work for you, like him staying in the life of the soldier, which doesn't work for him, and the Queen of Swords pulling the trigger and finding peace away from the Queen of Wands or Leo, who may be slaving just to get one single little message. So again, at the end too, she has to decide to stay with the group or go with her husband as a white man to try to find some way to bridge the gap between the Indian and the white man. And that was at 9:34, which is the Hermit and the energetic exchange, or arrows of love. So he infiltrates the Indian community to become one of them, so then he can now infiltrate the white man's community so that they can make a bridge. And also the game was coming up last night as well. At 9:35, which is the Hermit and the Wounded Warrior, the Queen of Swords upright out in the cold with the King of Swords, and then the Knight of Swords reversed, holding their tongue or lashing out, avoiding disaster or after sudden events. And again, we lash out sometimes when we're hurt. Someone's leaving our community. So maybe we're lashing out at them because we don't want them to leave. But they're not showing it that way, right? It's the hurt showing its way in a negative way. So the lashing out to avoid a disaster, or after a sudden event or epiphany or sexual exchange, or Scorpio reversed, Leo and Sagittarius upright, or Pisces or Capricorn reversed, ending a conflict or game, or the war or virus is finally over. And the energy after war of PTSD, and that was the energy. The game I started watching the other night, but it was long and I didn't feel like watching the end of it because I'd seen it before. But I finished watching the game last night too, which was Michael Douglas, about how much trauma you can go through, how much faith you can have, right? Because he was supposed to remember that it's a game the whole time, and yet there's these real life circumstances where he was actually getting hurt. And at the end, he jumps off the roof. But they had anticipated every action he would take, but he didn't have faith in that. And it was that wake-up call, right, of jumping to your death and then not dying, to realize that you did everything that could possibly happen to you in your life, including commit suicide, and yet you survived it all in order to show you can surpass all of your fears, you can overcome all of that. It's all an illusion, right, from fear. Or the Queen of Swords upright, who left with the Queen of Wands and the King of Swords upright with the Knight of Swords reversed, perhaps left, those are the two left out in the cold. So as opposed to the couple, this could be the King of Swords with the Knight of Swords reversed, the father and son energy, or perhaps two men left out in the cold together, after a sudden breakthrough and an awakening to end the battle and the war, right? Not just the battle, right? The battle is one part of the whole war, and the war is the inner war. You can't stop any of the battles until you stop the inner war. The constant fighting or competition, and or the virus was coming up here. The 941 of the Hermit and the Ace of Cups, of self-love, spiritual love, and new love. The Page of Swords with a message and needing to transition by passing the downloads at work, with guidance to those suffering in silence, and burdened by Atlas and the weight of the world, and challenged by the Queen of Wands with their higher self, connected or on break with the Page of Wands and the Queen of Swords, with the Knight of Swords, who's reversed after a sudden event or not so sudden breakthrough, or birthing with a rebel yell, which was like the energy of his Indian friend when he left, as he yells from the mountaintop that you are my friend and you will always be my friend at 12:12, which is something that, most communities don't do. They don't recognize their friends when they leave like that. It was this beautiful tribute just from one person to the other. In the breaking through of a birthing with a rebel yell, and an awakening or epiphany, ending conflict and or the game. Ending the game when he jumped off the roof to his death, but he didn't die. At 945 of the Hermit and the 45 of the Five of Cups, being dead tired of hiding and suffering in silence, while sovereign with no issues, passing downloads as Atlas leaving the wounded warrior behind, inspired Page of Wands, remember the masked boy with the burning desire, and challenged by the Queen of Wands upright at the workplace, with their higher self of that Pisces energy of the feminine, and the guidance or Taurus on break with the Queen of Swords upright and the Knight of Swords reversed, Scorpio reversed, Sag or Leo upright, and Pisces or Capricorn reversed, all of them ending the battle and the war for good this time. So again, this is the energy of someone who keeps going back to the same old situation. But instead, this time, they're not just ending another battle, they're ending the inner war of fear and thus leaving the situation for good. At 948, which is the Hermit and the walking away and within. Yeah, so it's the 1019 was coming up as the turn. The 10 is the turn for the better, and the 19 of the sun. The destined sun, the turn of the better for the sun. And in the game, it was interesting because 1019 came up as an address in the movie, 1019 Montgomery, the game. And also that came, actually 1019 came up too in the way we were, the release date yesterday when I posted. So the turn of the better for the sun. All right, so I have a message of the day here too. Let me get the picture of it for you. It's 12:14 on the clock again, and we started at 11:14, so that's significant. 14 is the Temperance card, the angel, the balance and patience, off the beaten path, one step at a time, with no shoes, in a higher love. So here is the message of the day that I did last night. Okay. And the message of the day at 10:39, 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, 39 of the Knight of Cups, being love. The underlying energy was the lion, the mice, the two swords reversed in the family room. Be still, my heart. Lion and pests. With the King of Wands here, the lion and pests is coming up like the cat and the mouse. With new clarity in the empty family room of completion. The King of the Jungle, the King of Wands, with pests, or is one, clearing the home or completing it. Dear one, looking here, with cheetah approaching, the target. The turtle is very slow and waving the others on without them, like he did in Dancing with Wolves. He told him to go on without him. He had to go back to get his diary, and that's when he ran into the military who wanted to take him prisoner. Dear one, looking here, right? You're looking here while you should be paying attention to what's going on around you. Here with the cheetah approaching the target. The turtle is slow, waving the others on without them. The bat is lost in space, and the lion is unaffected. He knows he must go on. The power lady is present to Atlas's burden, with the mountain to overcome, taking a closer look, making it bigger than it is. The luck of the high priestess and the King of Wands, with pests to deal with at 11:09. Detoxing out in the cold, conflicted by the Empress reversed, which is 11:09 is interesting because I started this video at 11:09 and I forgot to do something, so I had to get up, stop the video, and start over again. So 11:09 is coming up again as that kind of reflection of 9/11, of making things bigger than it is. The luck of the high priestess with the King of Wands, with pests to deal with. Detoxing out in the cold and conflicted by the Empress reversed at night. Or Cancer with the King of Pentacles reversed, with new information and the official person on the fool's journey, with sudden wealth, or hit the jackpot, feeling like they have everything, with 777s, which is also 21, aligned with the energetic exchange or the arrows of love, in occupation or occupied by that energy exchange. And the EE are my initials as well. And the King of Wands at the courthouse, or filing paperwork to complete the home or the union at 11:14. The 11 of justice and the alignment, the rose line, and the 14 of that higher love, the angelic realms. The first section here is the buffalo, the tarantula, and the eagle. So first out we have the buffalo and the stampede. In the running of the bulls, the tarantula who's at the Y in the road, and the eagle with their eye, right, diving in. The buffalo at the crossroads with eagle scout. And this is very much Indian energy of the buffalo and the eagle, right? And the tarantula at the Y in the road. The buffalo inspired by a message about the end of the battle. The ship sailing, but there's nowhere to call home. With the tarantula cracking the whip of the truth and justice holding their tongue with a message of concern. And right as I wrote this is where I was watching the movie. It was late. And he literally says, as I'm writing the buffalo, and I'm talking about the buffalo, he literally says, and the buffalo weren't in the movie yet. And I forgot in the movie, I forgot what happened. He said, how come we haven't seen any buffalo yet? That was at 22:40, as I'm talking about the buffalo. And then he said, and where are the Indians? The eagle is Dr. Jackal and Hyde dancing with wolves. The eagle, Dr. Jackal, and Hyde, dancing with wolves, wanted to ghost the buffalo or tarantula with vehicle and a message of infiltration, a bit of conflict and lashing out, threatening to leave, but happy to hear it. And that was like in the beginning of the movie, he was paired with this kind of obnoxious soldier who he was very polite with initially, but he did not want to spend time with him anymore because, he was kind of a guy who didn't honor himself or his body. And so he was happy to see him leave. And then the second section here is the spider in the web and the moth who is foolish. The spider in the web with a breakthrough, with the Page of Pentacles loving man, but with no community. The moth to the flame with sudden dreams, or fire signaled and drained of life. A wolf and a lady in wait, which he didn't know yet. This is all, it's interesting how they're bringing up the movie as talking about the ending first and now going back to the beginning. Oh, that's interesting. So again, the loving man with no community, seeking a place to be. He's out in the middle of the desert and perfectly happy there alone. As the moth to the flame with sudden dreams, or fire signaled and drained of life. A wolf, both a wolf and a lady waiting for him to come into their lives. The Page of Pentacles drained or sick with no community and no female. The third section here is the snake, the collective awakening, and the gazelle. The poisonous snake and the attack. The injustice of the Queen of Cups, working hard to the bone, which is very interesting because later in the movie, she's talking to him about how she was working really hard. So she's coming up as the Queen of Cups here, working very hard to the bone. And when he found her, her hands were bleeding, or she had her husband's blood on her hands, one or the other. And the gazelle, who may be journeying at night and not sharing about one who was in bad health, because she didn't tell him about her husband until near the end, at 12:08, which is the hanging man and the dance with wolves. The injustice of the imbalance. The Queen of Cups working to care for a sick man, and or vice versa. The fourth section here is the truth and the wise owl. The truthful egg or home, the emperor, walking away from their healing gifts, or to their dreams, or to their gifts, or a peace offering here. With the Queen of Wands reversed and the Queen of Cups, or excuse me, it's not the Queen of Wands reversed, it's actually, I thought I just didn't write it properly, it was the owl. The owl or wise Queen of Cups. Perhaps she used to be the Queen of Wands, but is now the Queen of Cups, with bridges to mend and implementing a plan, with the King of Cups boy who's now out on his own and feeling impoverished on his journey. The fifth section of the bear, the starfish, the cobra, and the lamb. The bear with star or superficial view. The kaleidoscope or telescope, as he pulls out a little scope to show the Indians how you can see afar with that little telescope. The cobra teacher, looking to target the lamb or the buffalo. The bear romantic pup. And the Page of Cups reversed, adjudication of their union and acceptance of all that is, of what would happen, the death of the buffalo, the death of the enemies, and this sweet innocent boy who didn't want to do that, but as part of his community acceptance. The starfish and digging deep in connection with mature worldly man, and the cobra teacher with concerns of spirituality, maturity, and peace, and holding on with their cards close to their chest, holding back his true concerns of the heart. The lamb and the loving lady with gifts, the lover inspired by unexpected income or unexpected incoming of the bulls. The page and the incoming of the soldiers as well. The Page of Cups reversed with intense connect, holding on to thoughts about their lover. And when he had to go back to get his diary and then didn't come back right away, of course his lover would be very upset and concerned that he wouldn't return. The sixth section here of the crow, the otter, the octopus, fire ants, and the mouse. The crow and the otter learning from the octopus teacher on how to hunt and how to save a little one who's been left behind. The crow being the loving man, the twin, feeling trapped and imprisoned by their thoughts at present. The otter excited to crack codes with the Queen of Wands on the journey, and the octopus teacher coming together in the labyrinth. The woman at the center, and the man feeling miles apart from their lover at the center, not knowing how to bridge the gap. The seventh section of the fire ants and the mouse, the loving couple of the Queen of Wands in a crowded tent, soft with abundant marriage, another side of him, and there's that energy of the chief, because they were all sleeping in the same room, and the chief was making love to his wife, and he awakened there sleeping with the group, realizing that they were having sex with the children in the tent at 12:24. the Hanging Man and the Queen of Wands there. So that's coming up as the chief with his wife. The mouse, again, that's their way of life. The mouse, King of Cups with time crunch, or feels like forever, or the Queen of Pentacles reversed, wise, privileged lady, weakened by the Queen of Pentacles reversed, on the magic journey forward as the King of Pentacles goes back to the Hermit with changes in their life. So here's the King of Pentacles as him going back to his place to perhaps contemplate on his life and this community that he's becoming so in love with at 1246, which is the Hanging Man and the two children hugging each other, being so loving and natural. And that was the message of the day. And I ended up going to bed at 2:14, which again, I told you I didn't fall asleep till like 5, but there you have it. Dancing with Wolves. So let's see what the Animal Spirit deck, since that was the energy here, has to say at 1:10:51 to 2 and 12:25 on the other clock. So that Magician, that turn for the better of the King and Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is coming up as the higher self, the War Widow, after the first life. And the 12:25, the Hanging Man and the Knight of Wands. Hanging out and becoming inspired to dance. To learn to dance. To do the dance of the masculine and the feminine. Within and without. And the Dance with the Wolf, which was his name, Dances with Wolves, was the patience of learning to dance with the divine feminine. The she-wolf would teach him patience to allow her to come near, because she was a very beat-up old wolf who learned not to trust the human. And he would have to break those barriers. There's the nightingale, the songbird purifying the air, right? Breaking the sound barrier of speaking up with Dear One. At the Y in the road, at 0 point, with the hard worker, the beaver, and the other hard worker, who's the bee, and the turtle, who's really slow. So you have to catch them up when they get back, regarding the buffalo. And the vulture. And the vulture's coming up as the wolf, because he was so raggedy, or she was so raggedy. I'm not sure what she was. He called her Two Socks, because she had white paws, or he had white paws, whatever he was. And these are the two old wise ones who are very drained. The bottom of the deck is the bat lost in space. The little mouse with wings they didn't know they had. Like the bee with wings becoming the butterfly with wings they didn't know they had. This is the mouse becoming the bat. But they're lost in space. They don't know how to handle the energy. And look what's beneath that, the lion. So the king of the jungle, the chief of the tribe, like watching out for their little ones who are just learning to fly. 2 is 1, the father and son. Oh, look at that, guys. Dancing with wolves. And look what comes before the wolf. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Before the wolf is the dolphin, and before the dolphin is Mr. Ed, which is the Saggy God energy. And his horse. He loved, they're reminding me, he loved his horse, and they killed his horse, the soldiers. His horse was so sweet. The horse kept coming, the horse and the wolf, no matter how many times he told them to go away when there was danger, they both always kept coming back to his rescue, because he had that high vibrational energy. He was the dolphin of that compassionate energy. It's making me cry. And the wolf standing there coming back when he was trying to make him go away so that they wouldn't hurt him. And he kept standing there. He was still afraid to come up and take food from him, but he never left his side. He kept coming back. The 2 is 1. The 2 hearts that beat as 1. And the lion and the sun. waiting for their son to fly, but not wanting them to leave, and then needing to allow them to leave, to find their own way, to find their own wings, to find their true love, the songbird, the dear one, the feminine side, being at that Y in the road and choosing the right path, of the hard-working beaver and well-balanced carpenter bee, the one who gives a damn, and the carpenter bee who works really hard to find their new wings, and the turtle who may be slow to get it and waving the others ahead to go without them, and the buffalo who went back to look for them because he was his true friend. And then the two old wise ones, one perhaps who would succumb to the attack, but there's also the energy of the vulture cleaning up after the kill of the buffalo here. This was too the child who's the one who smiles got knocked off their horse, and the buffalo wasn't killed, and they had like 3 arrows in them. And this was the child just standing there waiting to be taken by the buffalo, charging them. But he shot the buffalo just in time. The buffalo literally fell right next to the boy, and that energy's coming up as well. But he accepted his fate, go on without me. But then the wise ones were able to protect him, to have his back. But it was also the energy of having the buffaloes back and killing them as painlessly as possible, not wanting to torture them, because they'd seen a whole bunch of buffaloes prior to that who'd been skinned and not taken for their meat. You know, they tortured them. I'm getting the energy too of the old wise ones succumbing to the dark energy here. It's the energy of the new generation too, right? So the ones who cannot see the new way of being, who cannot understand this high vibrational way of being, they may stay the same, and it's just, you know, generationally, you know, they will just eventually not be here anymore, and the new will rise, and that's how the energy is going to be. Let's see what the journey of love has to say. I'm getting with the dice, the 10 is the high vibe air fluctuations, and here is the water fluctuations of emotion and air, the breath and the heart. And then the heart, be still my heart. And the circle is the human embodiment of source, and there's the heart in the middle, the 0 point. Right, so the wave, talking about vibration and frequency, right? So there's vibration, but then the high vibe frequency of the vibration, moving faster and faster and faster. The sound waves, breaking the sound barrier, speaking up. And the trash truck just went north. And that's paralleling to the vulture. Someone's got to pick up the trash, right? Fire and ice, the 37 is the King of Cups. And there's that Jesus energy standing in the middle of both sides, right? The soldiers and the Indians. and being the peacemaker, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And the woman of light, his seeing this is the light at the end of the tunnel is her. The bottom of the deck is intimacy, which is the wounded warrior of the 35 down here. The intimacy in the vortex of the man and the woman. In the blood dance, the 42, the 1-to-1 with the wounded warrior, the Mary Magdalene energy, and the Christ vibration. And here we have the unconditional love of the 37 of fire and ice, of merging to the middle, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, which is the divine feminine, the woman of light. And the mother prays in the void. Right? So this is the 49 of self-love, of finding satisfaction with self, without anyone else. And that then makes her light so bright that it just can't be missed by the masculine when he becomes in the center of it all. Unconditional love and love of self. This is the masculine's love of other and her love of self. Even the shadow side of the mother, when the mother can be overbearing at times, right? And then the 40 of the innocent Page of Cups, the pure innocence of the void. The King of Cups and the Page of Cups. Sovereignty of emotion and the shadow side. The masculine, the feminine, the mother, and the child. But it's the shadow mother and the child. The shadow mother and the innocent child. But it's all in that very high vibration. The mantis. The tough love of being a mother. Of protecting your child. Which means sometimes biting the masculine's head off. So again, the King of Cups and the Page of Cups, which can be father and child, but also can be, the Page of Cups can be an immature adult. So someone who hasn't had a chance to mature their emotions. Maybe they've been very intellectually focused in their life, and so they never really grew up emotionally. That energy can be coming up here as well. So let's see here. So the first card that came out here was the Nightingale. I think that came up yesterday too, didn't it? So it must be important. The Nightingale. Hold on one second. Yeah, Nightingale. The nightingale is fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. The song of the nightingale is otherworldly. The simple brown bird, almost unnoticeable amongst the flashy plumage of the other birds, transports its listener to the realm of poetry. Be still, my heart. Nightingale energy is with us when we write, compose, and especially when we sing. It reminds us that music heals the deepest of wounds. This card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, and let it out. When in balance, sings, speaks freely with kindness. And when out of balance, are shy and lump in the throat. To bring into balance, music. So again, music is coming up. It's really important. And then we have 37 of unconditional love. That's funny. I opened to the void, which was the fourth card that I pulled. Fire and ice. You are learning to hold the tension of opposites, of those things that don't immediately seem to go together. Within your being, without collapsing. It was just 24:24 and it's 38 on the other clock. 1:24 and 12:38. The Magician and the Queen of Wands. the hanging man of wisdom, of seeing new perspectives of the 38 of the Queen of Cups. And here we're talking about the King of Cups. You are learning to hold the tension of opposites, of those things that don't immediately seem to go together, within your being without collapsing into confusion, judgment, or denial. There is passion and serenity, creation and destruction, new life and death merging within you, within your relationships. Sometimes this is hard to handle. We want to make things simpler, to just let go of the conflict and complexity and choose one or the other. You are a grand enough soul to be able to withstand the rigors of depth, to go deep, to live fully, to let the divine have its way through you, requires a willingness to stand at the center of pairs of opposites, and eventually know that they are connected to each other, that they exist only in relationship to each other, to breathe and simply be. Be still, my heart. If you are consciously feeling the conflict in your life, internally or externally, then you're being initiated through fire and ice. Stay present, be patient, and wait. There is nothing to fix here, just awareness to step into as the divine creation continues to unfold through you. As you master this initiation, you will find a sweet nectar of bliss dripping within. This oracle brings you guidance that the conflict you feel within or externally is a sign of your spiritual growth. Soon you will grow larger than the conflict, but for now you do not need to engage in it. Simply be present to it and allow it to work its way through you until you are strong enough to have outgrown the conflict, giving rise to a clear direction. It may seem impossible, beloved, but it is not. You are a vast being. Give yourself a chance to realize this and have patience. All is becoming, including you, according to the perfection of divine design. This oracle brings specific guidance on any relationship matter requiring a decision. Until you have simple clarity in your heart, beyond the pushing away and the pulling closer, then it is time for you to wait, and there is more yet to be revealed. Only when your heart speaks clearly, then you will do well to act as feels truthful for you. There is a beautiful silence now. Be still, my heart, as I hold your hands and listen to your eyes. Across the span of moments called time, there are no words that say as much, nor walls that could confine the wings of our feelings or the rhythm of our eyes. Remember your water, your sleep, your joy, and your nature. And be still, my heart. Rise and be love. Rise and be love and breathe.